Good evening. 7 o'clock. Yeah, slightly earlier than we normally do, but there's a game on that I'm sure we're all going to be hoping that Fulham do a job on Tottenham on. But we'll discuss that a little bit later when we talk about their boy Harry Kane. Rebel, long time no see. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Looking forward to getting this into the meat grinder and hawking it out with you, Mr. B, because it's going to be a fascinating show, I think.
Guys, this is the Man United agenda. Let's go. Rebel, after what was I say a disappointing defeat. I'll say disappointing just because of the time that they scored the goal. To be fair, if it was a 3-2 on 60 minutes or something, I suppose it's a little bit easier to take. But when you've got no chance to fight back, it does seem like a little kick in your teeth. What do you reckon?
Yeah, obviously a tough result to take, but I suppose if you said to me that 6 months ago that Ten Hag would be in the position that we are now, I'd have snapped your hand off, took you out to dinner and said, thanks very much, I'll take that now.
Yeah, I suppose I suppose you're right. I know we on the agenda we did have a few lower position finishes than the third or fourth that we're currently in. So look, onwards as upwards as Edward French has got on here. Um, Big up, guys. Disappointing Sunday, but we go again. Yeah, we do. I said it was a disappointing result, and for maybe an hour, I thought we held our own, but I think the lack of substitutions, which brings us on to our point, killed us a bit. Linvolf, we see you. Good evening. Gaming with
Samin?
gaming with Samin. Ah, nice job. I don't know if that's a piss take, as the fact that we've botched up our we didn't win the game. You could be a gooner. If you're still in the chat, give us a little nod and let us know. As I said, good evening, Linville, and obviously good old Pat Lawless. We see you in the chat there, man. Um, Rebel, obviously online, we did see various bits and pieces about fans spouting out about being disappointed with the lack of subs that we made in the game. Can I have your thoughts, you guys in the chat as well? Your thoughts on lack of subs and if there was anything else we could have done. MUFC Brummy Reds,
How you
we
doing,
see
buddy?
ya. Talk to me, Rebel. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I'm just actually just going to bring up that subs bench just on my phone briefly because I think it's worth actually naming who was on the bench the last day before we kind of get into the finer points of
Mm.
it. So on our bench we had Elanga, Fred, Garnacho, Heaton, Lindelof, Maguire, Manu, Malacia, and Pelestri. Now, don't get me wrong, like the bench is a work in progress, but I think the reaction from some of our fan base, I even saw some numpties, for want of a better word, calling for Ten Hag's head because of his substitute management. This is a work in progress. This is not the finished article. And at the end of the day, I don't know who they expected him to pull out of his behind. Did they expect Mbappe was behind him or something? Because at the end, we were facing the best team in the league as it stands at the moment. Arsenal are currently head and shoulders above everybody else, and the only loss that they've really suffered this season is against Manchester United. So we need to row in the reins and kind of get away from this absolute nonsense that is any criticism of Ten Hag, because he set up and he made it difficult for them in their ground. We were
Mm.
in their hood. They weren't playing in Old Trafford. We were playing in their home. And even the Arsenal fans that I've seen commenting, they've admitted that they were given the fright of their lives prior to eventually putting us down at the very end of the game. I don't think any of those players, like Garnacho and a few more of them, are at the moment saying that they're in development mode, and that's what they are. They're cutting their clock. Garnacho's a fantastic talent, but at to expect him to take the weight of shifting that game on his shoulders is beggars belief. And I think our fan base, or at least some of our fan base, needs to toga buggy, as we'd say in Irish, chill out and just not be even going there, because they need to be slapped down on this narrative of Ten Hag making errors. That I don't want to hear it, because it was not the case. We were beaten by the better team yesterday.
Before we go any further, Rebel, FC United, evening guys. I'm back out of a hospital. Hope all is well. We did notice that you hadn't been on, and it's not even us that's hoping as well. We hope you're well. And welcome back to the madness. Can we just have a word from our sponsors? Better late than never.
Yes, indeed. We, of course, are sponsored proudly by GMS, Global Mapping Service. They currently assist architects, property developers, and construction companies all over the country. That is the UK for anyone that is currently an international viewer, such as myself. I'm from Ireland, so they probably wouldn't be able to provide me with many services. But within England and the United Kingdom, they offer a wide range of services such as setting out, topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning, and monitoring. And of course, the link, as always, is in the description of this video. And I do also want to say a big hello to SC United Forever. Yes, the camera is on. There's a green screen. We've stepped into the modern era, and that is thanks to two things: a new laptop and getting rid of Sky broadband.
Oh, you got rid of Sky? Funny enough, I got rid of mine today. I'm on Virgin now, and everything's running in my house. I'm not going to diss Sky, but yeah, I've got Virgin now, and I've got everything running, and there's no buffering, there's no nothing. So yeah. So where were we talking about? What were we talking about, Rebel?
The overreaction of the fan base.
Yes. Yes. So look, we've got a message one here from Ronan Joshi. The players were tired, so we needed more than Fred in the last 20 minutes. Erik ten Hag would have learned from this. He needs more tools, aka a stronger squad. I mean, that's kind of what you alluded to in your little riposte there, Rebel.
I agree with him.
Linville Stewart here has got. I think Garnacho would have caused Arsenal more problems than Anthony. His speed alone, little 1-2 passes with Rashford. Can I ask you something, Linville? Though, to be honest, should we as a club be relying on an 18-year-old who's had 10 games, whether they've been starts or subs, or maybe less than 10 games, to be fair? Should we be relying on somebody in a game of that magnitude? That's just a question that I'm going to put to you guys in the chat, to you as well, Rebel, and Linville, especially if you're still there, big man.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think it would be completely unfair. Like, Ten Hag has a track record of developing young players. We know the mantra of Ajax and what he established there. And he's not going to put the weight and wrath of a fan base on this young man should he have been unable to turn the game. And I think, in a way, he's protecting Garnacho. He sees him as a bright future star in that Manchester United jersey that is sitting behind you and that I currently have on. And I suppose, put the pressure of not overturning the result on them, it would have been a disservice to the young man, because I think he is a diamond in the rough, and Ten Hag is currently polishing him.
He's polishing him, yeah? I don't know if that means the same thing as well.
Easy.
I just went to sorry, Rebel, sorry. We've got one from Danish. This is, I'm sure he's our youngest. This loss was on the cards. Till this moment, Erik ten Hag has overachieved with the squad. We all need to remember that promise which we made to ourselves to give Ten Hag 3 windows at least. As I said, I mean, Danish, I'm not even... I was vexed on the day with the result, but, you know, if you step back and look at where we are in the league and the teams that we've beaten, we've probably given Arsenal the hardest game at home. I mean, look, Anthony Herbert's in the chat. Maybe he will agree or disagree. Anthony, let us know. Paddy, we see you, man. He's saying, great to see the manager angry at the press conference. It echoes my feelings. Yeah, yeah, I think it's a breath of fresh air. I mean, I don't think we were that bad, but the fact that he was talking about, you know, when you're that stage of the game, you don't give it away. These players need to learn these things, but again, I don't think he's got the tools to work with. He's got who has he bought? Who's he brought into the squad? Um,
Casemiro, Ericsson, but like I think by our own admissions, Mister B, we would say that in key areas of the pitch we're still thin. And I
mm,
just want to put a bit of, I suppose, reality into the situation. Arsenal, after 19 games, they're at their halfway point, are on 50 points. This is a very good side. I think the only other side that actually gave many trouble at home this season was Newcastle, who took a point away from there. And I also want to just touch on the fact that we are currently a work in progress. There's a long ways to go on this. And I was actually more disappointed with us drawing with Crystal Palace than I was the last Arsenal.
oh, look,
That
there
tells
you go. Look, and right on cue. That's the same thing that young Danish has said there. Yeah. Mm.
100% agree.
Just a quick one. This is just a kind of. Do you think we were in a title race, Rebel?
No, I said that I was on the Armory preview, well the preview with
Mm.
Bobby the day before we had our preview and they had their main preview, and I said to them, look, I'm going to enjoy the conversation of us being associated with a title race. I said, of course, if you were to look at the raw nuts and bolts of the mathematics, yes, we were in a mathematical title race because of our proximity to Arsenal and Manchester City. But in reality, as I said on there, I said we are a couple of windows away from taking us back to fighting with your Arsenals, with your Cities, and unfortunately, when they get their act in order, your Liverpools and your Chelseas will also be rapidly
Mm.
breathing down those necks. We're 2 or 3 windows away from that, and I think a rather good barrier or bar that we need to set ourselves at is making top four this season and putting ourselves in the best position possible where we may be in new ownership in the summer to attack that squad and use that Champions League qualification as a method for recruiting some of the bright young talent that Ten Hag will uncover.
Okay, I've got a couple of messages just I want to get up here. This is the question that I put to Anthony Herbert. It was a tough game, Mister B. Also, a good game, but you can take the positives. Sorry, but you can take the positives in this game. There were hardly any negatives, and this is from an Arsenal fan, guys. So, you know, obviously, he could have gone another way and gave it full banter. But respect to Anthony, for coming out with what we believe, how we believe and how we perceive the game to be. Paddy Silk, um, Roy was right. Some of these players, especially Wan-Bissaka, you may not agree, Mr. B, but you switch off and you get punished in big games, not like Burnley at home. Agree, agree. He did switch off. My only thing with you, Paddy, yesterday, I did lose my mind a bit. Was that it's the timing? You meant you were digging him out before he made the error for the goal, but look, things are what they are. Heat of the moment, you know.
Can I briefly come in on that point?
Yeah.
Because we discussed this yesterday, and if you want to see the full kind of discussion, obviously look back at yesterday's reaction show. But obviously, yes, he was caught out in the back post for not watching who was coming in. But there was 2 tackles, one against Crystal Palace, one against Arsenal, that were goal-saving tackles. And anyone else would have given away penalties in both those occasions. But he got the timing right, and he whipped ball away. So for something like not him being a bit blind to his back post blind side, you can fix by structuring your defense to cover that weakness. You cannot teach those tackles that Wan-Bissaka put in.
Just one from Case later here. Thank you. I think she's agreeing. I think they agree. Sorry, she. I think they're agreeing with us, Rebel. We need to believe in realistic expectations for this season, not dreams. When this squad is a starting 11 and half a dozen players who will continue in the future, I said, there you go. I said it's good. I'm glad. Obviously, the people in the chat have a little bit more sense than the hype that was going on yesterday. We were talking about transfers and improving the squad, Rebel. I mean, look, there's a couple of things that have come up today. Um, Obviously, Kane being available for a fee that you'll let us know, and obviously Osimhen maybe being available for a fee. Um, Talk to me, Rebel guys in the chat. Get involved. There's 20 of you in there. Please, let's hope that we get 20 likes. You know what Solo's like. He'll be looking to keep me on here for
Absolutely.
2 hours and eating loads of broccoli. So let's get these likes in nice and quick, nice and early. Yeah, go on, Rebel. Sorry, bruv.
Absolutely, yeah. There is 25 wonderful people in the chat, so please do give us our allowance of likes so that Solo can let us go home and eat some steak dinner. But I do want to mention just briefly, there was a piece on Talksport. Teddy Sheringham was interviewed. There's two actual interesting sides to this, and he said that it is imperative that Manchester United chase Mr. Kane. He said the former England international spoke of the importance of bringing in quality players to challenge for major honours. Tottenham need to keep Harry Kane for themselves to go forward, he believes. But if Man United want to move forward, they need to buy Harry Kane, said Teddy Sheringham on Talk Sport. Now, he did also mention another player, and that is one Harry Maguire, Manchester United. And he said, in his opinion, there was no way back. But we'll come to that at the end. But Teddy Sheringham seems to think that the way forward for Manchester United is Harry Kane leading the line. You're muted, I think, Mr. B.
Sorry, Rebel. A lot of background noise there. Let's. You know me. My stance on a lot of things is I want new players at the club. I don't want ready-made, so-called world-class players. It's going to be interesting. 32 guys in the chat, so it's going to be interesting. Let's get a few more comments from a few more newbies. Don't sit there in silence. We don't bite. Say hi. Don't be shy.
There's one I want to pick on actually that I just spotted, and that is MUFC. He's a regular contributor to the channel here. £85 million. And I think that is one of the hallmarks and the key issue that we were going to speak about today was he's quoted at £85 million for a guy that's about to turn 31 in the not too distant future. At best, we probably get, 2 seasons at the top level out of him. So that would represent a rather substantive financial commitment before you even discuss his contract. And just translated into euros, that's somewhere in the region of 105 million euros. Osimhen is currently going, the Napoli striker, for between 100 and 120 million euros. He's 24 since December. And for my money, he can do everything that Kane can. He's quicker, he's faster, he's stronger. So I think that's the debate that we need to tease out. I think we need to be looking at that generation of striker, and maybe even younger, not someone that can give us maybe a season. And Kane isn't exactly exempt from injuries at the moment either.
To be fair, you're right. I mean, the thing is, Osimhen got injured. Was it the beginning of this season? Partway through the beginning of the season, and he came back and carried on scoring, like he hadn't been away. My doubt, maybe, is that are United going to be spending that sort of money in the summer? Now, I know a lot of people are talking about new buyers, new owners, but until those new owners come in, I think it's pie in the sky. I mean, we will have a budget, but do you believe it's going to be something that's going to be able to get us a striker of that price? Either one of them, whether it's 85 million euros or 95 million euros.
Well, interestingly, as you kind of identify a few more comments from our wonderful viewers, because they are getting heavily involved in the conversation about Harry Kane.
I'm not gonna say his name, but he's taken Osimhen or Lautaro. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well done, Rebel. Yeah, well done, Rebel. We've got one.
I can tell you, Care's actually a surname that's in Ireland, so I was actually assuming that it was just an unfortunate coincidence. But just on the transfer budget, just
mm,
briefly, in the event that United is taken over, they will have their debts cleared. They will have their financial fair play situation basically reset. So they probably would be in a position to spend £200 to £300 million in the event that we can have all of our earnings go against our financial fair play reckoning. So at the moment, we're saddled by the €1 billion debt that of our current owners. So that would shift the picture in terms of what we would be allowed to put forward against transfers, in my opinion. But I think you have a few more comments for us, do you?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I don't even know where to start. To be fair, look, we'll start with, we'll go with. Here we go. We'll start with John. I can't say that surname.
I'm presuming he's Greek by the looks of it.
Mm. Harry Kane is too old to be a United centre forward. They need someone from another league that is younger. Is it an age thing or is it a price thing? We've got a few in here with price. Somebody said a fiver. I'm not going to disrespect here, but Mr. Kerr again is saying no more than 50 mil. If it was a 50 mil guarantee that you could get Harry Kane, would that be something that would interest you guys in the chat? Is it a price thing? Is it the fact that Harry Kane is what we know and he became a star somewhere else?
Actually, even at 50 million, I don't think he's worth it. I wouldn't tend to agree with Mr. Kerr there either. I think at this stage, you're looking at a potential one season and done asset, depending on how he kind of navigates through the remaining seasons. Because we saw what happened with Wayne Rooney towards the end. His degrading kind of accelerated as he went past 30, and I would be worried that you might see something similar with Harry.
Vincent Bullock, after yesterday's nightmare, I can see you going in for Kane, and I've got a bad feeling Paul Pogba will come back. Well, let's not get the channel shut down by talking about Pogba talk, to be fair, Vincent. And I'm not sure, as I said, I'm not sure that Harry Kane would be the one. Paddy, Kane is in his prime at 22 now. Kane's gone past it. We've got one here. Gonzalo Ramos. Portuguese. That's the Portuguese gentleman, yeah.
The hat-trick hero from the World Cup, yeah.
It could be. Oh, look. Always, man. We always try and recognize the newbies, big man. We always try and recognize the newbies. Edward French is bucking the trend here. He's got I would take Kane tomorrow, but I think the price though and his age, he would disagree over. So
that's the part of the conversation I have the problem with too. It's not Kane, it's the rest of it.
Okay. So let's have a look.
Actually, interestingly, Bart did mention Sesko as well. He's not a young fella that I like the look of, but I don't think you'd be able to throw him in and expect him to dominate out the gate.
We need somebody ready to go. I think this next transfer window, the summer one, it's not so much this one. I think this is going to pass us by, to be fair. I think the summer one deals need to be done early. Although you know what they're like, Rebel. We have this conversation every summer. They always want to try and leave it late, but me personally, I would take Osimhen. I just feel that he's a great all round player. The levels, I'm not going to say he's Harry Kane's level at the moment, because let's be honest, Harry Kane scored 260 Premier League goals, so he's not trash. I'm just not sure he's what United need. Here we go. Look, we've got one here from where's it gone? Oh, it's gone. Here we go. Look, something to lighten the mood. So, guys, what are we choosing? Who are we choosing? What are we choosing?
I do like this comment from McKay actually. Why can't we be linked with players with sensible price tags?
I mean, Emma, I just don't. I think what happens is as soon as we get linked with them, it adds 20 million.
United tax.
Yeah, United tax, Premier League tax, Sky tax, Northwest England tax. Yeah, they always seem to be get taxed the most. I think that's the problem that they've got, and the fact that everybody believes that we're going to have more money. They thought they used to take us for a ride before. Ajax ended up getting 85 million pounds from us for 85 million euros for Anthony. So there's still people in the club who will dilly dally enough for us to get taken for a ride again. So it's hard. It's hard.
Can I just actually say one thing? Actually, speaking of transfers, and you mentioned a certain conversation we don't want to go down, but one of his teammates at Juve, Mr. McKennie, he's an American. He's got the lungs, and he's like a little terrier going around frustrating midfielders. He apparently is available for 20 to 25 million euros at the moment from Juve. Now, if we want to get a midfield reinforcement to make sure we reach top four, forget Pogba, but go for the American, because he would absolutely frustrate the life out of every single midfielder he comes up against, because he will be gnawing at your heels for 90 minutes.
So you're saying that you think that we need to get a central midfielder. I'm looking towards you saying that we need a central midfielder in January. Yeah.
Yep.
Guys in the chat, just throw a couple of names out. Possible. Don't forget, we're broke. Man United have no money. So let's throw out some names and see what the suggestions are and see if you can sell us anybody, because I'll be honest, I don't think we're getting anybody, to be fair, Rebel. I don't think there's anybody out there on a free whose clubs are willing to let them go. If they're on a free, then, unless it's a complete breakdown like the Trossard situation, then I can't see anybody leaving without them getting a fee. So what you got, guys? What you got? McKennie, here we go. We've got, somebody said, my eyes are bad. I saw something about McKennie. Here we go.
Bart,
yeah, McKennie is good, but Fred does the same. Yeah, but the problem with Fred is he has no ball. It's all good being able to run, but we want somebody who's going to be able to run and pass.
And I think what we have to remember as well is, as much as he's maligned by Manchester United fans at the moment because he hasn't reached what we thought and expected of him, Donny van der Beek being out for the rest of the season is a massive loss to squad rotation. If you look at Christian Eriksen out there, and again, I want to throw this out to our 23 people that are in the chat, we cannot keep putting this man out at the rate that we're putting him out, because it will not be long before he's completely gassed out, and by virtue of the fact that his legs are burnt out, we'll have to sit him down. And I don't think we have the depth of squad without Donny to make sure that we have enough bodies to get us to the end of the season. We've had this problem before with Bruno. Last season, me and you and a certain learned Mr. Obi-Wan Juma were in a chat saying, what do we need to make sure we get top four? And me and you were both in the church of, we need signings. And for me, it's not a case of the quality of the signing at this stage, despite what Paddy might ascertain. It's a volume of players. You're going to need lads to come in to do a 20-minute shift for you in order to allow your front line to recharge the batteries. And that is not what we have at the moment in our midfield. We are completely 100% reliant on Cass and Eriksen.
Yeah, and they did the engine room. They're the ones putting in the most work. And to be fair, on 60 minutes, as good as Eriksen is, the game just keeps passing him by. We can't make that tackle. At least with Fred, he runs. As I said, it's definitely a lack of quality. It's definitely a lack of quality. The drop off between our first team, or so-called first team, and the players in reserve, I just think is too much. The gap is too big. I'm not gonna. You look at the Casemiro situation yesterday. We knew that Scott wasn't going to be able to fill his boots, but the gap, that gap is too big. The drop off is it's like dropping off a cliff. It's too much. So yeah, I think we do need reinforcements. I'm really hoping that we do get somebody in January. And look, Kay Slater's got one here. this squad will be worn down in the next 6 weeks. Bruno and Eriksson will be beaten down fairly soon, and this we go. Look,
Garner would have been a useful cog. Yeah, and I suppose just to kind of address Paddy's comment about not quality, they mightn't be the best in class in midfield, but they might do the simple things right, that they wouldn't make any major cock-ups that would cost you possession, that might lead to goal-scoring chances, but are capable and trustworthy enough that they will sit on the foundation of what Cass and Eriksson might have done in the first 60 minutes, and they will take it home for you. We're not if we want game changers, game winners, we're going to have to pay for them, and we're going to have to do that when we have money. Currently, we don't, but we can cast our eyes to sensible, simple, clever ball players that might not stand out from a crowd of footballers, but won't put you in trouble.
we've got one from Dan Kroon. I've never seen you before. Hopefully, I'm not mistaken. If you have been here before, my apologies. If you are new, we'll take your time to read out your message. What about Ziyech on loan from Chelsea? He is an Eriksson type player. He's an Eriksson, maybe an Eriksson type player, but not in that position. And to be fair, mentioning Chelsea, they're going to have to get some players out. I'm not sure Ziyech would be the answer for us. But no, he's somebody who Ten Hag's worked with, and he seems to like a lot of that Ajax type Dutch connection. So look, you can't rule it out, I suppose, but I can't see that, to be honest.
I would tend to agree with you, and believe it or not, I have a couple of Chelsea buddies, and we were sitting down, and he was mentioned as one of the first players that he wants to get out the door from his squad at Chelsea. He's not a fan of Ziyech at all. Now, again, in a short-term kind of Jim will fix it plugging of lack of squad depth, if we could get him at the right price, maybe he'd make sense, because obviously Mr. Ten Hag would know how to utilise him and get what he needs out of him. But in terms of a long-term strategy, I don't think he'd be someone that you'd want to be seeing in your squad next season.
Again, another message. Ziyech is only being benched at Chelsea while he had a great World Cup. Well, we can say the same thing about Harry Maguire, and he's our club captain. So, I think it's down to what the manager wants, and maybe not quite form playing for their country that's getting him in and out, to be fair.
And you mentioned Harry Maguire, and there's a comment about Harry Maguire.
There we go. Newcastle defence is the best in the league, and Harry Maguire costs more than their back four. So money isn't the answer. As I said, it's finding the players that fit into the system that Ten Hag wants to play. And I think that's the part of it that we probably need to be looking at.
And I think we need to go back to something that Ralph Rangnick, despite his maligned time on the sideline, the one thing that he did call out and say was not acceptable was the lack of scouting reports that was available about kind of players that nearly every front office knew about, but yet Manchester United hadn't prepared a dossier on. That is where we are not identifying these value for money players.
Yeah, well, let's hope that one, with the new owners coming in, that part of it is addressed, and they're not leaving it just to the to us trying to work out who we're going to be signing. Look, either way, we know Ten Hag's going to be having a big say in the operations moving forward at the club. Zoe Media House, welcome to the madness.
Yes, indeed. Emma Kay is in the building as well. We have the right players in the academy. We might have them in the academy. She says, "You never know." No, yeah, we may need to give them a go. What do you reckon, Mr. B?
That's a good point. The fact that Ten Hag's now taken over the running of, he oversees the whole of the academy now as well. I think that's where he saw Menu and brought Menu up. I think that is going to have a big say in moving forward. He's going to realize he's going to work out what players can maybe suit his formation. Question for you guys: are they playing the same system at all levels of the club, or is it?
I'd expect there's more harmonisation now under Ten Hag, and I think you've raised a key point, and so has Emma. But I think we're looking at more medium to long term benefit from those. The likes of Laird, the Fernandez wing back, Manu, Zidane Iqbal, Savage. There's a whole ream of these guys. But I don't think I don't think he's going to throw him to the wolves straight away. He's going to bring him in the way that he always brings them in. And as we are coming up towards the end of things, Mr. B, I do want to mention that we do have a very special guest host tomorrow. Andy Tate is taking charge of the preview for the Nottingham Forest game, I believe, with yourself, Solo, and OMONDI tomorrow. You might correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no correction needed. You're absolutely right there, mate.
Excellent. And then, of course, we have Watch Along and Reaction coming up on Wednesday. Thursday is possibly a preview show, but we're finalising that at present. And then you're back doing something rather special on Friday night, I believe.
Yes, the takeaway is back. So we'll get a couple of Forest, see if we can get a couple of Forest fans, maybe a Reading fan on there as well. Mix it up. We're trying to do something a little bit different on a Friday.
Yeah. Get your takeaways ordered for 10 o'clock and pull out the ice cooler next to you, because it will be quite a show.
Yep, he will be doing the show tomorrow. If not, you can blame Solo, because he told us that he was. But guys, look, we'll let you get your tea and your dinner ready before Fulham go and kick Tottenham's ass. Rebel, anything else you want to say before we say our goodbyes?
Yeah, 20 of you in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Please do give us a like, share, and subscribe, and help the channel grow. We will try and bring you all Manchester United related news, but that is it from me tonight.
And me, as I say every week, you don't have to be here. We appreciate every single one of you. And FC United, it's really good to have you back. This has been the Man United Agenda. We are gone. We will see you all tomorrow.
Good night.